and welcome back to another episode of Girls on Deck. Once again, I'm Kayla Burge, joined by Hannah Russo.
Today we have our guests Taylor Anderson and Ross Bernstein here to talk to us about the NBA and some prop bets for this weekend's upcoming Super Bowl.
So let's get right into it. We're going to start with the NBA. It's still in the beginning, but some things are happening, some surprises. So Ross or Taylor, either one of you, I want to know what team you're most surprised to see performing well this far.
Sure. So for me, I would have to definitely say it's the Utah Jazz being a number 2 in the West and 15-6. Sadly, they're kind of known for a team that tends to underperform a little bit. But they have Donovan Mitchell averaging 22.8 points per game and Rudy Gobert having 60.6% from the field. They won 11 straight games before their loss to the Nuggets, and I'm just excited to see where this team could go. They're definitely an underdog coming in, and they're pretty much passing everything that anyone had set for them. So it's going to be an interesting season with them the way they're going.
Yeah, I'd have to go with the Jazz too. It's been a real big surprise. It's great to see Mike Conley actually be worth the millions of dollars they're paying him, because he underperformed horrendously last year, right? So they brought in Jordan Clarkson midway through the season last year, I believe, if I got that right. And he's also playing well. So what they've done, or what they seem to have done, is put players in their best role to succeed, right? So right now, Conley's averaging 17, 4, and 6, while Clarkson's 18, 5, and 2. So Clarkson, although I think he is listed as a point guard, works much better as a shooting guard. He's a shooter. He does not pass the ball well. While Conley is a defensive-minded guard who can move the ball well. So between those two things, and obviously Bogdanovich has been playing very well over the last 5-6 games, that's a lot of scoring they need. And that takes a lot of pressure off Mitchell, right? If I'm Donovan Mitchell, I'm coming and expecting that if I don't drop my 30 points, we're going to lose, which is a lot of pressure, and he's still a very young player. So a lot of that pressure seems to be off him, and they're performing well, and their defense is playing amazing. Combine that and winning on the road, very good season, very good start for the Jazz so far.
Absolutely. I think that was the team I was really most surprised to see too. When I was looking at the standings, I saw that, they're right above the Lakers, and that's something, going further down the season. Again, it's too early to tell, anything could happen. But is that something that you think the Jazz could give the Lakers a little bit of a run for their money, or is it at the end of the day, the Lakers are the Lakers?
Okay, so I'll start. Listen. It's LeBron James. I don't know if you know what team he plays for, but it is the Lakers. We're not touching that, right? Listen, it's a great start. They've also been one of the healthiest teams, if I'm correct. I think they've had the most consistent starting lineup with COVID. So that obviously is a benefit, and we don't know that's going to happen. At full strength, listen, it's a great story. They're starting great, right? I think they're 15-5 right now, 16-5. Listen, it's a great start. Do I think they'll be able to contend at the end of the day in a playoff series? No, they're not beating the Lakers 4 out of 7 times. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Can you beat the Lakers or even the Clippers? I think the Clippers would give them a lot of problems because the Clippers are playing amazing. No, I don't think they'll be able to do against either of those teams. And I would really like an LA versus an LA matchup finally this year, because we deserved it last year. We didn't get it, so that's what I'm looking for this year.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope for the same thing. And yeah, so it's kind of the Jazz's Cinderella story right now, and we'll see how long it lasts. Now, going on the opposite end, what team do you think is underperforming this season?
So for me, for the East, I would definitely have to say the Wizards by far. I mean, they have an all-star and a previous MVP in Westbrook, and they're not really just doing too well. And Beal's probably going to be an all-star this season as well. They're 4-12 and last in their conference. For a team filled with people that can shoot the ball, pass the ball, they're not just performing well for their standards, with players that people were able to bring in expecting to do such high things, and they're just not performing at their best. And it's kind of been a shock to see. It's definitely been a season so far of teams that you don't really think too highly of succeeding, and then vice versa. So that would have to be my team as of right now.
Yeah, look, the Wizards are not having a great season. I really was surprised when the report came out today that Beal wants to stay in Washington. I commend it. I always respect a player that is willing to go through the tough times. But it just seems like they're never willing to put a lot of money around him. Yes, they got Russell Westbrook, but they had to trade John Wall for him, right? Westbrook just came back. He played a great game the other night, but he started off super inconsistent to start the year. My biggest disappointment is the Miami Heat, okay? Yeah, I know. I know. So the thing with the Miami Heat is, right, it's only be underperformance considering that we went to the finals last year. If we didn't go to the finals last year and just say we were a second round or even first round loss, this wouldn't be too surprising, right? We have a lot of veterans, but we also have a lot of young players as our core. We depend on players like Adebayo and Hero to play well in order to win. They're thrown really into the fire, especially in a playoff series last year against the Lakers. If I had to shoot us some bail, we have had a lot of injuries, right? We had our best player miss over 10 games. That's not an easy thing to come back by. Do I think we'll be able to reverse it? Yeah, I think we're too tough of a team to not reverse it. But Hero needs to play up to what we expected of him because, listen, he played out of his mind in the bubble. He's not going to do that, but we need at least 89% of that. Adebayo is playing great. Hopefully we get Goran back, and hopefully Duncan can get back to the productivity he had in the playoffs. But, man, you don't go from the playoffs to being, I think, the fourth worst team in the East. I mean, the finals to being the fourth worst team in the East. Unacceptable, but in Pat Riley we trust.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was my most disappointing team. Just, partially as a Heat fan, you want to see them do good following such a strong run before, but they're just, again, underperforming has to do with a lot of injuries and stuff, but I definitely think they need to be playing at a better stance. And again, it is early on, so anything can happen towards the end of the season, but you would hope that they kind of get something working again to get back to the same. And same with the Wizards. I mean, they're just both teams that should be doing better considering the talent they have. I know the Heat have younger talent, but still I think they need to be performing much better.
I definitely agree. Yeah, I was expecting the Heat to be more of a front runner at the beginning of this season, especially coming off of being a part of the Final Four last season, but they are where they are right now, and hopefully they will continue to make progress and show that they deserve to go back to the finals and back to the playoffs.
Absolutely. Now, going into some rookie talk, LaMelo Ball, in his first career start with the Charlotte Hornets against the Miami Heat, finished with 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists in 31 minutes. He's a very talked about rookie right now, especially coming from the family he comes from. But he has a lot of talent to show for it. And I want to know, what do you think of LaMelo's performance so far, Taylor?
I definitely have him as my rookie of the year so far, and he's kind of just stayed at that spot consistently throughout the season. I think coming in, he did have a lot of pressure because of his name. He is a well-performing basketball player, and so are his brothers. So, I mean, he has a lot to live up to, but I guess we've seen as the brothers continuously come in, they are getting better and better. I mean, when he is a point guard who's 6'8" and he can ball handle so well, I think it's really important and crucial to his team. I wanted to also talk about their overtime win against the Bucks, where he had his ups and downs throughout the game, but then he ended up having a career high of 27 points. I think it's really important to also recognize the fact that he isn't really coming into this expecting to be this great player with all these back behind him, all these people saying so many things. He hasn't really let that get to him, and he is proving himself as a rookie, and he's obviously not going to be MVP this season, but he is really a strong rookie, and I'm excited to see the next 10 years and decades to come that he'll play.
And I believe he's only 19, right? He's a baby. So, the fact that he's performing this well so far is crazy, because I could not imagine at 19 years old dealing with such pressure. So now, Ross, I want to know what your rookie that you're looking at is so far.
Like she said, listen, LaMelo is a 6'8" guard that can handle the ball, shoot, but he's highly inefficient, much like his brother. Do I think he's going to be an amazing player for the years to come? Yeah, I think he'll get over the issues he's have right now. He turns the ball over a lot. He doesn't shoot a great percentage. But what do you expect? He shoots the ball with 2 hands, and he's a rookie in the NBA. I do give him the benefit of the doubt that he played overseas first. He played with grown men, which I will always argue is harder than playing against hard collegiate athletes, but that's another argument for another day. I think there's a chance he wins Rookie of the Year just because they're going to give him enough minutes. But someone I want to talk about is definitely James Wiseman from Golden State. Right, James Wiseman, I believe, has a 7'6" wingspan. He could spread the floor. He could run the floor, and he could shoot the ball. What team works better for that than the Golden State Warriors? Right, I think this season he's averaging 14 points per game or 12 points per game, somewhere around that. He's not statistically amazing like maybe a Ja Morant was last year. There's no rookie like that, right? There's no rookie that's going to get close to 20 points per game this year that I could think of off the top of my head, right? So we don't have that. This was a lackluster draft class, right? There's no Zion Williamson. There's no Ja Morant. There's nothing like that. But I think Wiseman has all the tools and skills to get there. And I think with Golden State, he's in the right opportunity, in the right mindset. And I think he has leaders around him, right? I think Kerr's an amazing coach that gets the best out of his players. That's what makes Kerr a great coach. His approach is great, but his influence with players is what makes him one of the best coaches in the NBA right now. Now, do I think he'll win MVP? I would love to see Emmanuel Quickly win it. Not MVP, but Rookie of the Year. Quickly's playing great for the Knicks. The Knicks are not good. So it's not hard to play good for a team that's not good. But shout out to him. He's playing great. He's doing great things. I think he's averaged about 15 points per game over the last 5-6 games, right? Great story. Looked up to Lou Williams. Able to give him a shout out the other day. That was awesome to see. But so I would like to see him win. But if I had to give a prediction for Rookie of the Year, I'm going James Wiseman.
Okay. Now, back to James Wiseman, like you said, he's currently out with a sprained left wrist, a minor injury. He'll be back. But how do you think those little step backs affect someone in a rookie position? Do you think it affects their head space more? Do you think it might affect their gameplay, or it's just something that they get over, they'll learn?
Yeah, listen, they're young guys. I can't imagine he's 21 years old yet. So I'm not too worried about recovery. It's about how it impacts you mentally, right? There's some injuries you come by. I wouldn't say a sprained wrist or whatever it was is too bad, but sometimes they can mentally mess you up. You need to be a confident basketball player. That's what happened with D Rose. Granted, a lot different, a lot more severe injury. Once you don't have that confidence, that lays into everything. The best basketball players have confidence in themselves fully. I think he'll get over it. I think he's around veterans that will help him experiencing, and sometimes it's good to sit on the sideline and look at what's happening, right? He's not used to playing 82 games. There's something called the rookie wall. Around halfway through the season, that's the max games you'd play if you went all the way through March Madness, which is around 40 games. They're not meant to play 82 games immediately. So I think taking a couple games out and learning, obviously if he comes back healthy, if he comes back unhealthy, that's a different story. I think he comes back strong. I think he comes back even better. I think he get to maybe 16 points per game for the rest of the season. I would love to see that.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's all about, the mental space that you can come back with and deal with it. Cause I think it's pretty scary, going from these young guys. They're 19, 20 years old, maybe only played a year in college. And then they're going straight to the NBA with people like LeBron James, Anthony Davis, who have been around for a little bit. So I think it can get a little messy for them mentally, but as long as they keep going, I think that shows who the true stars will be, is the ones that keep up with all that.
100%.
Well, now I want to talk more veteran players. We talked a little about rookies, but now I want to hear MVP. I know some first quarter MVP talks have been thrown around, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Jokic, all those names. But I want to know, Taylor and Ross and even Hannah, who you guys think deserves MVP as of right now?
Yeah, so I have to say LeBron James, as cliche as it sounds, he's just such a great player and he lives up to his name every single year. He's playing the fewest minutes averaging throughout his whole career and he's doing phenomenal and shooting more. I've seen a lot of people kind of thinking that he's going to be MVP as well. But, he's on the Lakers and they're pretty much the favorite to go back. He's just a tremendous player overall. He's aggressive, he's strong, he's very strong-minded and knows what he's doing, and he's a great representation of the NBA. It's been a while since he's won MVP. It's always that kind of talk that goes back and forth, but I think if they are able to go back to the finals this year and maybe do a repeat, I think he has just a great quest to becoming this year's MVP of the league.
Yeah, man, listen. 36 years old, 18th season, averaging 25, 8, and 7. With the best season he's ever had in three-point percentage. Mm-hmm. Come on. He's the MVP. You could give LeBron the MVP for the past 8-9 years. They're going to give him this one because they've snubbed him before. They snubbed him for Defensive Player of the Year before. He's playing out of his mind defensively. They won't give him that. Believe me, they'll try to snub him. But I think at the end of the day, you have to give it to LeBron this season. What more do you want from him? I went on a podcast last year with Jeremy, and I argued MJ was the GOAT, right? It's only getting harder for me to argue that every single time I argue it with my roommate. I believe they're going to win the chip this year, be at 5 championships. Listen, come on, man. 36 years old. I love Embiid, and I think Jokic is having a phenomenal season. And Jokic will get it in time. But the young fella's got to relax. He'll get it in time. 36 years old, give it to LeBron James. I can't imagine he slows down. I really can't. This man is not human.
Yeah, as much as I would love to, before you go, Hannah, as much as I would love to disagree with that, I think, yeah, it's a LeBron game. But Hannah, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that I agree with both of you because although his statistics right now aren't at his usual best, he is shooting 41.3% more of his three-pointers, and he's making about, if he's shooting 6.8 of those, he's making at least half of them every game. So he's definitely putting up a great fight for why he deserves MVP. And it has been 8 years since his last title, so maybe he'll get his 5th this season.
Absolutely. I definitely think, he's one that's deserving this season. And even, reading articles, you had some saying Kawhi, some saying another player, but for the most part, everyone's kind of on board with LeBron. He's just the talent. You can't beat him right now. He's the best in the league right now. You can't argue with it. As much as you want some other underdog to win it, you have to just go on board with LeBron. And now I want to talk about a little bit going back to the young players in the NBA. Do you think is there any talent that could potentially live up to players like LeBron or anything in the NBA right now, or do you think that's something that's really missing?
I don't think it's missing. I think it would have to take a little bit of looking at and seeing specific players because of just the name he's made for himself. You think NBA, honestly, you think LeBron James at this point in time. I think it's just like comparing any player right now in the NFL to Tom Brady. It's just when the time is right, then you'll kind of go back and have that debate. But at this time, I don't see any young players at this moment specifically being where he is right now. But in the next couple of years, I'm sure we'll start having that conversation again.
Ross, what do you think?
Yeah, listen, I'm a huge fan of Zion and Devin Booker. Those, to me, are the next two guys. Devin Booker's having a little bit of a slower season, but, I mean, listen, I feel like the media just got off of Zion as fast as they got on him. I mean, it was the next one day, this is the next LeBron James. This is everything. Now it's LaMelo Ball. Zion is averaging 23, 7, and 3 on his second season on 58% shooting. You don't do that unless you live in the paint as a center. This is unheard of. He's a 6'7" guard, right? He's a 6'7" guard that could tumble through people. He's 280 pounds. This man is very large. He is very strong. He's doing things that we haven't seen before, and I feel like it's just getting not enough appreciation. Maybe because, yes, LeBron James is in his 18th, that was really not nice, 18th season, and I feel like maybe a lot of the attention just went off, right? Because I remember when he was drafted, this is the next LeBron James, media coverage 24/7, and then I don't know what happened. It seemed like I don't know if you guys have heard anything. I've heard nothing about him this season except for the 58% the other day. It's gone very quiet. And I don't know if he notices this. I don't know if he cares. But listen, man, he's up next. And I think Devin Booker is the embodiment of players like Kobe and Jordan. I think that man's a walking bucket. And I think he's going to be a star very soon. And obviously Giannis, but I have no clue how old Giannis is because I feel like he's been in the league for 8-9 years now. But he's been next up. I don't even want to say him. He's too old for me, which is crazy because I think he's 25, 26. Listen, man, Zion and Devin, those are my two next guys up. But I think Zion's going to be really special, really, really special.
I for sure agree with you on Zion. The media definitely did stop covering him a lot this season because I don't hear his name as often as I used to. And like you said, he is putting up great statistics this season, and he definitely has more to show and more to prove that he can be the next LeBron James.
Absolutely. And I think, that's something that is always exciting in the NBA. I'm always looking for the next big thing. And I think, like you said, Zion, Devin Booker, there are a lot of young talent. And I think they have, going back to what Taylor said, have time to prove what they have. They have years. They're all very young. So I think it's going to take time to see what they can become. But it is exciting to watch the journey. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit of Super Bowl prop betting. Stay tuned.
Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying today's episode on Hitting the Field Network. On my show, Take Me Out to the Podcast, we're bringing you the latest in MLB news and some incredible interviews with some incredible people, including Bobby from Outta Here Baseball, Bailey from Foolish Baseball, Dawson Wright, Alec Palmer from Momentum, and so many more. Be sure to tune in to Take Me Out to the Podcast every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, only on HTFN.
And we're back with Girls on Deck. How could we not talk about the Super Bowl when it is Super Bowl week? But I want to talk about a little more on the fun side of the Super Bowl. NFL prop bets. So basically what this is it's any bet that doesn't necessarily have to do with the outcome of the game. So things like the coin toss, the color of the Gatorade poured on the coach after they win. Now, the American Gaming Association estimates that 23.2 million people in the U.S. will wager around $4.3 billion on this year's game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That is a lot of money. So I figured let's try it out for ourselves and do some of our own NFL prop bets. So we have to start with the coin toss. It starts the game out. Now I'm going to go from Hannah to Taylor to Ross. All right. What do you think, heads or tails this year?
I think the Chiefs are going to call tails because I know my friends that are football players and all football players pretty much say tails never fails. So
Agreed. Tails never fails.
Tails never fails.
I
100%.
I have to agree too. And last year in 2020, the 2020 Super Bowl, it was tails. So I'm like, it has to be it again. Just tails never fails. I really like that saying. So now the color of Gatorade poured on the winning coach. Last year it was orange. Do we think it'll be orange again? The odds are in favor of that. Or do we think it'll be a different color?
I have a feeling it'll be blue. I don't know why, but
I have the same feeling. I'm like, I just have a really strong inkling towards blue personally.
I see orange. I still see orange. Something about the red and the white jerseys going with orange. I see it.
Ross?
Going yellow, it's by far the best flavor, and anyone wants to argue with that with me, we could have a whole new podcast, but yellow is the best flavor. 700 is actually the least likely. It's plus 700 right now. So if you really have confidence in that, Taylor, you might want to put some money in it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I could agree that it might be orange because, you know, last year they're keeping with the red jerseys and all the above. So if they want to win again, maybe superstitions will allow them to go the orange way. But Ross, I do not think yellow is. I think yellow is the worst flavor for sure.
People are just wrong, and it's okay.
I could not agree with that. All right, next one is a popular one. The length of the U.S. national anthem. It's over or under 2 minutes. So this year, Jasmine Sullivan and Eric Church will be performing the national anthem as a duet. I personally don't know who Jasmine Sullivan is. I vaguely know who Eric Church is. I'm going to go with over 2 minutes. I feel like a duet. That just sounds correct in my brain. But what do you guys think?
Definitely over 2 minutes. They're going to hold it out on the free note towards the end of the anthem, just like they always do for that special effect, that special moment.
Same thing. I agree. I think it's going to be over. Not too over, though, because Eric Church is like a very short country singer, like cuts everything really short. So I think it's just going to be just over 2 minutes.
It's going to be over, but I cannot believe you don't know who Jasmine Sullivan is. I don't want to sing on anything that would be publicly, like, recorded. But, like, her last album was very good. I can't repeat the name of it because it has very inappropriate things. But I want to sing it, but I won't, Kayla. But just, you know a song. Just know I know you know a song from her.
All right, so send me a YouTube link after, and I'll figure it. I did not recognize the name, and I'm like, I probably have heard her songs, but yeah. Once Eric Church, I was like, him alone, I would have said under, but the duet thing was really throwing me off, so I had to go with the over. Now, there's some funny ones this year. One of them being, how many times will Bill Belichick be named? Now, it's more than once or not at all. I think more than once for sure.
More than once, definitely. They'll probably say his name right at the beginning, like Tom Brady's first Super Bowl without Bill Belichick. Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah, definitely over. I think there's even going to be some graphics and everything that'll include him as well, talking about Tom Brady. So definitely over.
This is basically free money. I don't know who made this prop bet. It's 100% over because they're going to mention in the, like she said, this is the first Super Bowl without Bill Belichick. Like, they're going to say within 10 seconds. I thought over under 5 would have been interesting. Over under 1.
I was like, all right, I guess, but
yeah.
No, I definitely think. I mean, they're gonna be playing that. He's gonna win. He could win the Super Bowl. They're gonna be like, he did it without Bill Belichick. I mean, it's gonna be all over. His name's gonna be thrown around a lot.
Oh yeah.
Now, another one that was funny was how many commercials will have a dog in it? Over 4.5 or under 4.5?
I think around 3 or 4 because Budweiser usually has a dog in theirs.
I'm going to say above. I think it's going to be like a year where like need a lot of animals and good feeling stuff going on. So I think it's going to be more.
Yeah, definitely more. I have an odd feeling like there's going to be a Pringles commercial with a dog. Don't ask how I got that. I just have an innate sense for that. So just if that's right, I don't know if that's a bet anywhere, but Pringles, I got my money on you.
See, I feel like Google's gonna have a commercial with the dogs. Google always has those ones that like make you cry. Like I think last year it was the one where the
with the old couple. My God. Dude.
Oh my god. Yeah, so I think that. And the odds, I mean, that's a good one to bet on, plus 170. So we'll see how that one plays out. Now this one was a little tricky because there's so many like songs that could be possible, but the Weeknd's first song to be performed at halftime. I don't think it's going to be Blinding Lights. A lot of people are saying that, but I'm like, you wouldn't start with your most popular song. I feel like that's what you end with. So I went with Starboy. I feel like it's a good starting song, but honestly, this one, I have no idea.
I have no idea either. I was thinking Blinding Lights because it is his most popular, but it didn't make sense to start with it. So I was feeling either Starboy or Can't Feel My Face because those are two very close ones in popularity as well.
I say Can't Feel My Face because it has that slow kind of introduction. I think it'll be like dark and then they'll like build up to it to like fast paced part of the song. But I think Can't Feel My Face.
As a massive Weeknd fan, I'm going to go with personal preference. I feel like he would start with The Hills because that's a great song to start to, although it is a little not PG and the Super Bowl is very PG. So we'll see. But Blinding Lights, if I had to give just an overall like non-opinionated guess, I feel like since that's his most popular song right now and that is his newest album, and I wonder, the prop bet should be what is the costume he wears because I don't know if he's going to be in that red suit the whole time. I don't want to see it. I'd rather him be in the black combat boots. That's a personal fan preference, but we'll see. I think The Hills are Blinding Lights.
Yeah, I mean, this one I have no idea. I am actually very curious though because the Weeknd songs are not PG at all. Like, I'm very curious how much is going to be just like silent for the entire halftime show as he's cursing, saying things. So I'm very interested. And I found out that he's actually paying for the entire show himself.
$7 million. He contributed $7 million on top of what they wanted to get his own vision, which is insane.
That's crazy to have that much money to have that creative control. So I am excited for the halftime show. Now, another funny one that I thought was fun was how many times will Gisele Bündchen be shown, Tom Brady's wife? Over or under 1.5 times?
Oof.
I think over because probably right when they get there, if they win or if they lose, and then like at his first touchdown pass.
Definitely in the Super Bowl after whenever he would score, they would always show her and like all the kids jumping up and down in the box. So I think progressively as the game goes on and they score more, she's definitely going to get more airtime. Wish they would just show her the whole time, but I think it's going to be more.
Yeah, I have to go over just because I didn't think of the scoring thing. But yeah, when they score, they're definitely going to show the box because it's not even a full stadium, so they have to. And I predict they score more than 2 times. At least I hope they do because I want a good Super Bowl. Yeah, I think over there is pretty safe.
Yeah, I agree with over. And, Gisele is one that's always been very into the game. So they want to show her because she's jumping up and down, cursing people out. I think so. She's super fun to watch during any of the games and be on her social media. I know she got in trouble once for calling, I forget what it was, but she called someone out on Twitter. So funny. So you got to love the support from the wives. Now, the primary color of Patrick Mahomes' headbands. Last year was red, and I have to go with the red this year because last year they wore the red uniforms. They're wearing them again. I think it would just be in the same, just to keep the luck going. They won last year. Maybe they'll win this year if that's the case. So I have to go with red this year.
Say red as well because usually when he wears his red uniform, he wears the red headband.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, red as well. He doesn't like to break up the color scheme.
Yeah, no, as a highly superstitious person myself, if you won a Super Bowl with red, why would you change it? I wear the same hoodie when I do certain things, and I didn't win a Super Bowl. I didn't even come close.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's gonna go red.
And I was actually reading an article about the uniforms and stuff, and it's the second. Last year was the first time 2 teams that had red as their main color come together in the Super Bowl. And this year's the second consecutive time. I thought that was an interesting fact, and people have a lot of time on their hands to figure that one out. But Now, okay, so this one's a little more of the gameplay. So the Chiefs' first touchdown scorer, I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill. He has the team's most receiving yards in the postseason, and I just think he has the most chance of making a big play happen. So if I were to bet, I would be going Tyreek Hill with the Chiefs' first touchdown scorer.
I would say Tyreek Hill as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if it went to Travis Kelce instead.
I'm going to say Kelsey. I think they're going to be kind of willing to see what Tampa Bay's defense is going to be like quick in the passing game.
I think Patrick Mahomes runned it in for about 8 yards to get the first touchdown. Don't ask why. Just what it is now.
That's a bold one, Ross.
I think Mahomes scrambles looking for Kelsey and then just elusively gets to the end zone. Yeah.
I have to disagree, but if you're right, you might win a lot of money. So maybe put some money down on that one, Ross.
I might.
So going to the Bucs now, who do we think is the Bucs' first touchdown scorer? I have to go with Mike Evans. I just think, I don't know why exactly. You know, he's obviously one of the leading receivers, but I really have a strong feeling of Mike Evans. I was between that and Godwin, but I really went with him in the end.
I was between Godwin and Mike Evans as well, but I was thinking Mike Evans just because he's more of a reliable source for Tom Brady, and he had a pretty decent season as far as receiving yards and then touchdowns.
Okay, this is going to be my Pats fan speaking. I want it to go to Gronk, so I'm just going to say Gronk. I don't really think it's going to go to him, but I'm just going to say Gronk to just say his name.
The beauty behind it.
Enough of the Pats fans, all right?
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Gone. It's my time. The AFC is next year. Don't worry about it. But I think I'm going to go Ronald Jones. I think they punch it in. I don't know why. I feel like the first touchdown is going to be running for both. I just have that weird feeling. I think Ronald Jones punches it in.
Okay, I mean, that's something we'll have to see. We'll keep watching. And I want to know, are you guys actually going to bet on the Super Bowl? What's your amount of money that, if you are, you're going to do it?
No, I need more money not to lose money, and I think I'll lose money, so no.
I will not be putting any money down.
Yeah.
I don't gamble. No, I have money in the stock market. That's the most gambling I'll do.
Yeah, I always like to put $10 down, but I couldn't imagine doing any more than that. My guy friends, they bet
I like the squares. The squares are fun. If any of you guys have done that,
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that's doing squares, but if you do, I would put 30 in for that. They're doing $10 squares. That's about the most you do. It's That's pure luck. There's zero skill in that. There's not even guessing. You don't even know the numbers you're picking.
No, it's pure luck for sure. And I mean, on my budget, the most I can do is honestly 10, and that's really pushing it. So gotta try, but super excited for the Super Bowl this Sunday. I know Hannah and Taylor and I made our predictions last week, but Ross, I want to know, who do you think's taking the Super Bowl this year?
His name is Patrick. It's Patrick Mahomes. And that man is winning the second Super Bowl, and I will not let Tom Brady win another Super Bowl. I am rooting highly against him. He's ruined my childhood. I have not seen the Dolphins win a playoff game since I was 6 months old, and they did choke this year, and I am upset, and I am salty, and I don't want him to win. Patrick Mahomes all the way. Let's go Chiefs.
What do you direct attack to Taylor over here?
I know. I had a bad season, okay?
Pats fans just make me they're like, we had a bad season. Yeah, I've had 20 bad seasons. I've had 20, okay? We don't ever win. I'm sorry, that one season you didn't win. I'm so sorry. World's smallest violin. I don't know if you know.
I mean,
the score is going to be.
Oh, yeah, what do you think the score is going to be?
I think it'll be 28-17 Chiefs.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it'll be somewhat close because I do want an entertaining game as much as I want them to lose. I don't want to blow out because I want a reason to watch the whole game. So I don't want what happened, again, the Rams versus Patriots game. That was the single most boring Super Bowl I've ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. I zoned out. I've never zoned out a Super Bowl. Thank God someone was cooking because I was not happy.
Yeah, I think the Bucs will get at least in the 20s, but I do think inevitably it'll be the Chiefs. So either way, we'll see. We could all be wrong next week, or we could all be right. So we'll only find out with time, and see you guys on Sunday, February 7th for the Super Bowl. Thank you so much for watching Girls on Deck. Thank you, Ross and Taylor, for joining us today. It was a pleasure as always. And we'll be back next week with another episode. Thank you.
Devin, you really don't know who Jasmine Sullivan is?
Yeah, what was the song? I don't know who she is either.
I really don't. I knock the windows out your car.
Oh.
That's Jasmine Sullivan.
I only know that she's probably only doing it because her TikTok song went viral.
Yeah.
Her last album is called Hotels. Ho is Heaux. It's a very good album. I listened to it a lot. It's not meant for me, but it is very good.
Oh my god.
I'll have to take a listen.
Hotels it's really good. I know it sounds ridiculous, but
I only think of that song from Glee. Do you guys know what I'm talking? You ever seen Glee?
I've maybe watched one episode that my sister forced me to watch.
It's in the first season. It's such a dramatic scene, so that's the only reason I know that song.
Shout out to Jasmine Sullivan. She's an amazing singer. I think it should definitely go over 2.5. I don't know who the other dude is. I don't want to admit that. I have no clue. I don't listen to country music.
He sings very, like, cuts everything off, like, very, very short.
Dude, I've never heard of it. What's his name?
Eric Church.
Is he known?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
okay.
pretty known, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I have no clue.
Gotta look him up. We'll look up Jasmine Sullivan. You look up Eric Church.
Eric Church. All right, I'll put in my one country music person I listen to.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.